Hi, let's build to-do list. Here, this is completed project. Here in this text box, we give some task and click on this button. It is going to add here with edit button and delete button. Okay, once we complete the task, we click here somewhere, double click it. Text will change into blue color and a line go through in this text. Once we complete the task, we can't edit it, but not completed tasks we can edit. To make things easier, I write the code this way. Okay, it is beginner's project, and here I want to edit this one. See, it's not John, it's somebody else, and add it here. Did you observe? Once we edit, we are removing this container, complete container, which contains edit button, delete button, and text. We are just copying this text and pasting it here. Okay, that's what we are doing when we are clicking on this edit button. Okay, to remove a to-do here, let's remove this one. Click simply this delete button. Okay, this one we can delete, and this one. Okay, this is the project, and let's go and build this one. I am in Visual Studio Code Editor. I have 3 files: index.html, style.css, and app.js, and 3 images, SVGs. We are going to use these images on top of our buttons. First we'll write HTML. For that, exclamation mark and hit enter, which gives basic markup. Change title. Link CSS file. If your CSS file name is style.css, then use this shortcut. Link : CSS. Now, link JavaScript file. Ctrl/2 comment. Our JavaScript file is app.js. Inside our body tag, first we'll create main semantic tag, and I'll give class name also main to access this one inside our style file. Inside this main, we'll create our main container, which contains our title, text box, and all to-dos. And inside this, I'll give some comments. Inside this container, first we will create h2 tag for title. Later, we will create a div for text box and a button. We will call this div input group. Inside this input group, we will create a text box of type text, and we will access this with ID. Here you see containers, elements like divs and all. I am giving class names to access, but elements like button and input, I am giving divs, IDs, sorry. Later, we will create a button with the ID add button. Inside this button, we will place a image. That image is here. We have these images here. Delete, edit, and add. Here we'll add. Alternative text also add. After this input group, inside our container, we will create another container for all our to-dos. We are going to add these to-dos to this container. We will call this div with class name to-dos container. Inside this, what we will do, for each to-do, we want to create a div. Inside this div, we will have to-do text and edit button and delete button. We will group these 3 things inside a div. By the way, from this part, we are going to generate from JavaScript. Okay. First we will save this one. Let's see how it looks. Later I will explain. See, now, see this part. Inside this, every to-do will be added, and that to-do text will be placed inside a container like this: div to-do item container. For each to do, we'll create this div. Okay. From JavaScript, we'll create this container and later we'll add this container to this container, to-dos container. Okay. Inside this to-do item container, we'll have a paragraph with ID to-do text. Here we will place our to-do text inside it. First we will write some dummy text. After this one, we will create a button for edit with ID edit button. Inside this button, we will place an image edit.svg edit. After this button, we will create another button for delete. Button ID delete button. Inside this button, we will place another image, that is delete image.svg, and alternatives also delete. See this part, that means this part we are going to generate from JavaScript for each to-do item, this part. So I'll give some comment here. What we'll do, for each to-do, we'll create this div, we'll add this to-do items container class to this div. Later inside this div, we add this paragraph button and this button to this div, okay, to-do's item container. Later what we will do, we will add this div to this div, that is to-do's container. Now save this one, let's go and check how it looks inside browser. See, now we'll go and style this page. Right click here, split right and close this file window, Ctrl B to close, Ctrl B, and here drag your style file. First I'll give some basic styles. Now we'll style our main, this one. We give class name also main and a background color burly wood and height 100 viewport height and display as flex. Whatever inside this we want to center horizontally and vertically. To center horizontally, use justify content center. To center vertically, use align items center. Based on the context, by the way, this works. Okay, let's go and check this one. See, this is centered horizontally, vertically. Now we'll style our container which contains all our elements. This one, background color white and border radius 5 pixels and width 400 pixels, height 600 pixels. Save this one, let's go and check. See, this is how it looks. We'll give some padding. Padding all sides 15 pixels. Now let's go and check. See, this one is done. Later we'll style our h2 tag. Here we are, h2. I did not give ID or class name, so I'll just use tag name. Text transform, uppercase and letter spacing 2.5 pixels. Margin bottom 15 pixels. We'll have some space. See, this is how it looks. Later we'll style these two. Okay, these two are inside this input group. Here we are. Okay, input group. Inside this we have input type text and a button. First we will style this input group. We give class name input group. Display flex. And by default all items are placed one after another on horizontal line. If you want to say it, you can say flex direction. Okay, flex direction equals to row. Later margin bottom 15 pixels. That's it for now. Let's go and check. Okay, inside this input group, we have this text box and button. We'll style these ones. See, text box we give ID, text input field. Okay, these are IDs. So use hash, and width, occupy full width. Basically, this input types does not occupy. These are not block elements. So just say 100%. Then it will occupy full width, and give padding all sides 10 pixels. Let's go and check. See, it occupied full width. Later, font size 25 pixels. Font weight bold, and letter spacing 2 pixels. That's it. Now type something. See, this is how it looks. Now whenever we load the page, I forgot to give some boolean attribute to this input field here, this one. Okay, this one. Whenever we load the page, it should be enabled and cursor should be blinked if we give boolean attribute called auto focus. Okay, if you don't know boolean attributes, we just give only the attribute name. That means its value also the same. Auto focus. If you want to give it specifically, you can give like this, but it's not necessary. If you give the attribute name, that means it is true. These are boolean values. Okay. Now whenever we reload the page, our input field will be enabled and cursor blink there. Okay. Save this one. Let's see. Reload this page. See, after this we have a button with ID add button. We'll style this one. It is also ID, so use hash symbol. Some extension giving that color kind of effect, I will remove that one later. It is nothing to do with our code. And padding top and bottom 7 pixels, and left and right 9 pixels. Let's see how it looks. See, yeah. Now this is a button. Remove border, then it looks flat on our page. See, now give some background color, cyan. Okay, now let's go and check. See, this is how it looks. Okay, this is showing because we have put it there. Here, to do item container. This part we are going to generate from JavaScript. I want to show you how it looks. So we'll keep it here. Ctrl/2 comment. Save this one. Let's go and check. See, now later what we'll have after this input group. After input group, and we have to-dos container. Okay, this one. I think, yeah, we need to give some value here as well. It is a class, so use dot. Once we have more to-dos, we want to show scroll bar, overflow y scroll. Okay, once we have more to-dos, we can scroll our container, this one. Later, inside this container, we have to-do item container. This is the class name, and display flex direction automatically row, and what else, margin bottom 5 pixels. That's it for now. Later what we'll have in this container, we'll have a paragraph with ID to-do text, and font size 20 pixels, letter spacing 1.5 pixels, and that's it for now. And what we'll do when we click this paragraph, double click on this paragraph. We want to change its text color and will strike a line through this text. Okay, for that I am using another class. We will add this class dynamically from JavaScript. Text decoration, line through. Okay, when we double click on a page, it is automatically get some kind of selected mode, right? I mean selected color. To remove that one, user value. To remove that one, user select none. That will do. Later we have two buttons. One is edit button, another one is delete button. Basically we give the same styles to these buttons. So select both. Both have IDs. And padding top and bottom 7 pixels and left and right I think 5 pixels are enough. 5 pixels. Okay, all sides. Later border none and background color transparent. Now let's go and check. We can't see it because we close this one and we commented this one. I don't know why I did this, because we want to see it. Once we are doing JavaScript, then we comment this one. Okay, for now uncomment this one. Then we can see it with styles. Ctrl/2 uncomment. Okay, save it. Let's go and check. See, this is how it looks. We need to give this paragraph 100%. Line through to do text. This is our paragraph. 100%. And later, yeah, that's it for now. Let's go and check. This is how it looks. When we add something here and click on this button, this will be added here. You can see this is inside to do item container. Now comment this one. We don't need to see it again. This is how it looks our page when we load the page. Okay, now drag this one little bit. I made a mistake. It's not a mistake actually. Our buttons are of type. We should specify type here. Otherwise these are type submit. We don't want submit buttons. Okay, we want button type equals to button for all buttons. It is a good practice actually. And that one only, because these ones we are going to generate from JavaScript. And if you don't know buttons, I'll explain it here quickly. Here I'll explain. Actually buttons we can declare two ways. One is by using input and type equals to button. Button type means it is a clickable button. Okay, when we click, if we want to do something, we use this button. This way we write. This is one type of button. Okay, and second way we declare buttons like this. Button element, we use button element. And if you don't specify anything, this is type submit. If you don't want to use submit button, because we use submit buttons only inside our forms, then specify type and button. Okay, these two ways you can declare a button, and which one you use, it's up to you. Here input type button is only text on it. Okay, we can show only text on that button, but here we can show anything, any HTML element you can place it here. Image like that we are going to do. Okay, images like here you can place anything. So I always use this one. Okay, these two ways you can declare buttons, and buttons are three types. Okay, one is button type button, second one is submit. Okay, this is submit button. Here also you can tell submit button when you are submitting your form. Okay, so this button is used only inside forms. Okay, and third button type is reset. Okay, here also you can set reset. Okay, these are three types of buttons, and buttons we can declare them in two ways. Okay, one is input type button, another one is button element. If you don't specify here anything, it is by default submit button. Okay, that's it about buttons. Remove this code. Now we are going to write JavaScript. What we need here, this input type, text input field, this one we need in JavaScript, and this button, add button, okay, with this ID. Later, to-dos container, this one also we needed. Here select JavaScript file, and close this one, Control B. Now we access text input field, add button, and to-dos container from here. This one, to-dos container. Okay, first we'll write add event listener for our add button. The event is click, and write a callback method. And inside this, first what we'll do, whatever user gives text inside this text input field, will check it is any value or empty. For that, if text input field dot value, to access the value, dot trim will cut empty spaces left and right, and later length. Once we cut the empty spaces, if there is any length equals to empty, that means no character is there, then what we want to do, we want to simply return from this function. We don't want to continue in this function. Okay, here you see in JavaScript, if you have only one statement like this inside your if condition, that means if you want to execute only one statement, you don't need to provide curly braces like this. Okay, alt up arrow like this, you don't need this way. If you have more than one statement, if you want to execute under your if statement, then you should use curly braces. For one line, one statement, you don't need to. So remove this one. Now we will check this one, console.log text input field dot value. Okay, if it is empty, we don't see anything here. That means this line will not execute. Control will return to from this statement. Okay, let's save this one and check. Open console. Here give some empty, we can see nothing. But if you give some value, see, so it's working. We don't need this one. Remove this one. And finally, once we take the value, input field value somewhere, we want to empty the text input field. We'll write that code here. Finally, text input field dot value. Once we have taken that value and we are stored somewhere, then we want to empty this text box. You can use double quotes or single quotes. It doesn't matter. Okay, give some value and click. Once we click, see, it is going to be empty like this. Now, first what we need to do here, we checked these conditions, and first we need to create this div, this one, and we should add this class to-do item container. Later we take this div and add this div to this to-dos container. Here already we accessed this one. Now our thing is, we need to create this div. To create any element, I'm using this name, to-do item container. To create any element, document dot create element. Okay, and what element we want to create? Div. That's it. We created div. Later we want to add a class to this div, to do item container dot class list is the object and it has methods add, remove, toggle. Okay, we are going to add, and here you give class name without dot to do item container. That is the class name we want to add to this element. After that, what we'll do, we'll add this container to do item container to do's container, this one. Okay, this one we already accessed this one. Here I'll write to do's item container, sorry, to do's container dot to add any element use append child. Here give to do item container. That's it. We created div and we added the class to the div. Later we added that div to this to do's container. Later what we need to do, inside this div we have paragraph. We need to create a paragraph with this ID. I'm giving paragraph name to do text and document dot create element. This time what we want to create? We want to create paragraph. To do text dot, here you can access some attributes like this, ID equals to, give inside to do text. This is the ID. Based on this ID we styled this paragraph. Now we give the ID to our to do text. Then we need to give some value. Which value? To do text. It is paragraph, right? And it has inner text property. And give whatever inside our text input field. Okay, this value. Field dot value is the attribute to access that value. Now what we'll do, we'll take this paragraph and add it to this to do's container. Not to do's container, this to do item container. Okay, like here you can observe here what we are going to do, what we are doing right now. To do item container dot append child to do text. Now it is going to be appended to that. Let's go and check this one. Give some value and click. See, our paragraph is inside a container. Here we can see. Now we need to add two more elements. One is edit button, one is delete button here. Here I'll write. Now we'll create a button. We'll call it edit button. Document dot create element. Now we are going to create button. And we'll give ID button, edit button dot ID equals to edit button. Later, if you observe here in the HTML, we added a image to this button, right? This image. Now what we need to create? We need to create a image. Constant edit image document dot create element. This time what we are going to create? Image. And we need to give source attribute. Image dot, here we can give like this, source. And the source is from root. Actually these are all in the root. So what is the name? Source edit svg. Edit dot svg. Later we need to add this image element to our edit button. Edit button dot append child. That is edit image. That's it. Later what we need to do, we need to add a event, click event to this edit button. I will write that one later. Okay, we will add that one later. For now what we'll do, we will create delete button and add it to do item container. The same way like edit. Delete button equals to document dot create element, this time button, and give id attribute, sorry, id property. Here attributes are called properties, and that is, what is the id? Here you can see delete button. Why we are giving the same names? Because with the same names, id names and class names, we styled our page. Button. That's it. Later we'll add this delete button to, first did I add this one to this container? No, sorry about that. Here we need to add this edit button to do item container. Okay, to do item container dot append child edit button. Sorry about that. And here we'll create image for this delete button. First, constant delete image equals to document dot create element dot element name is img, and delete image dot src. We are adding source, that is delete dot svg. Here you can observe the source delete dot svg. Later we need to add this image to our delete button. Delete button dot append child delete image, like this. Later we need to add this delete button to do's item container. To do item container. Append child delete button. Now we need to add click event listeners for this edit button and delete button, and double click for paragraph. Okay, once we double click on the paragraph, that means the task is done. First let's go and check this one inside browser. Here give some task and click it here. Now you see, once we double click this one, see here I remove this highlight thing. Give me a minute. Go to style file. I remove that one. Here to do text. Here this one should be here. Okay, and here we'll change the background color, color as well, to blue color, so user will know this is completed task, and the line will go through this text. Okay, so basically what we are going to do, when we double click on this paragraph, we are going to take this class, add it to this paragraph. First save this one. Let's check that highlight thing is gone or not. See, double click, see, it is not highlighting now. Go back to editor, app.js. Here go to this to do text. This is our paragraph. Okay, here we'll add double click event to do text dot add event listener. This time not click, dbl click. Okay, this is double click, and write a callback method. Here what we want to do, to this paragraph we will add a class. Class list is the object, and it has a method called add, and that class is line through. This class we are going to add whenever we double click the paragraph. At the same time we will disable this edit button. We can't edit once we done the task. That is how we are writing this program. And to disable this one, we will use set attribute. Okay, what we will do, we will give disabled. This is a boolean attribute. Okay, but when you are using set attribute, you must say like this. The attribute name is disabled and value also disabled. Not necessarily this one, you can give empty string as well, but this is more readable. Okay, once we double click the paragraph, that means the task is completed. We no more can edit that one. Let's go and check. Give some value and double click. This one became blue color and this is disabled. Okay, we can't see it, but inside this browser here this one, see, disabled. Now what we'll do, we'll write callback methods for this edit button and delete button. What I am doing with this edit button, here I'll write. We simply take the to-do text, okay, and put it inside input field, input text box. That's what we'll do. And we'll remove this whole container where this edit button is there. Who is its container? Here it is. Here you can see edit button. We'll take a paragraph value and put it inside text input field. Okay, here I'll explain. We take this value and put it here, and later we go to this paragraph parent or this button parent or delete button parent. All are same. Okay, same parent. Go to its parent and remove the parent. Then this all will be gone. Okay, now edit button, add event listener, that is click, and what we need to do, text input field, that is our text box. Okay, field dot value equals to, we know that we have the value inside our paragraph, that is to do text dot inner text. Okay, this one, it's already there. Now what we'll do, we'll go to edit button parent, parent equals to edit button dot parent element. Okay, now we got a parent. Who is its parent? Here you can see where we are. Here edit button. Its parent is this one. Okay, this div with this class name. What we are doing, we are removing this div. That means all will be gone. This paragraph, edit button and delete button. We have parent dot remove is the method. But some old browsers, it is not working. So what I will do, parent dot parent element. What is its parent element? Here you can see. This is the div. We reached this one with this. Okay, this is the parent. Sorry, this is the div. Okay, and its parent is to-do's container. We go there. That means this parent element is to-do's container. From there, we remove child. Okay, you can navigate this way to up any level. Remove child and give simply parent. That's it. That will remove the whole container. Okay, save this one. Let's go and check. Give some value and click. Once we are, I will give another value as well. Okay, this one is completed. We can't edit it. Okay, this one is not completed. We can edit it. See, that gone. That container, whole container is gone. Okay, that's it for edit button. Now delete button. It's simple actually. Delete button dot add event listener. Event is click, and this is first we need to go to its parent button dot parent element. Now you can observe here who is its parent. Same, this one, to do item container. It is here now. Now from there we go to its parent dot parent element dot remove child and give parent. The semicolons are not necessary, but it is a good practice to give this way. And let's go and check. See, I'm giving some values here. Okay, I think this one is done, gym. Okay, double click it. We can't edit this one, right? We can delete any of this. Edit. And this is not completed, and so I want to edit it. Okay, again when you click, it will be added as a new one. This one delete, and this one double click. That's it for today's video. I hope you like this video, and please consider subscribing to my channel.